We're joined now by Mr. Austin Alege, SAN, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. The NBA, the judiciary, there's a lot of expectation and focus, and many will say rightly so, too. Take, for instance, what the President has said about calling on lawyers to join in this against graft, and the VP also spoke. Much as they are aware of their responsibility and what is expected of them, do you think they're living up to that expectation at the moment?
Well, thank you very much for having me on. Lawyers all over come to this conference knowing the theme of the conference and knowing that it's important that we contribute our quota to national development. And that is why you will see that whatever is said at any time, lawyers are applauding, lawyers are cheering, because we have all come to realize that the time is now for us to live up to the expectations of the Nigerian people. And all lawyers, I believe, are on the same page with the President that take any brief you want to take, but handle the brief with the highest ethical standards. And if we all do that, we'll contribute positively to the development of our nation. I think that that's what we're going to see henceforth. On our part in the Nigerian Bar Association, apart from these ethical matters, we are also taking our disciplinary matters more seriously, and we are setting up more investigative teams. We are setting up a whistleblower team. We are setting up a judicial ombudsman, and we believe that by looking at even the judgments, not just having to police people, but look at the judgments, look at the submission, and look at the conduct of lawyers in all these cases. If we find any lawyers who are becoming wheels in the clog in the wheels of progress, we'll deal with them accordingly. But take it from me that every lawyer knows that to contribute to national development, we have to change our orientation, we have to change our thinking, and we have to do all that is right because our country needs to move forward.
I'm just wondering because given the human nature, that's why we have checks and balance to ensure that things go as they ought to. But there are many who will say the disciplinary session or section of the NBA, they've always been there, but in terms of carrying out their responsibilities, they need to do a lot more, especially examining those cases that are before them.
Like I said to you, it depends on where you look at it from. The different matters have been taken care of seriously, but now we're even expanding our scope. That's what I'm saying, that now we're going to be looking at even judgments. We'll look at record of proceedings, look at conduct of lawyers in those cases. I'll tell you for sure that our Legal Practitioners Advisory Committee sits regularly. I'm sure you are aware that recently they disbarred some very senior lawyers, and the process is continuing, it's ongoing. You can only make it better, which is what we are doing. We are expanding the scope. Our investigative panels that were about 9 before, we have increased to 15. So we have about 1 investigative panel covering 2 states. So things are getting better. And I tell you for a fact that after this conference, I think that the attitude of many lawyers will change because people now start to see that for there to be national development, law and order must first be in place, judicial system must work well. And if you are judicial system stakeholders and participants, we must do our bit. And no lawyer is going to drop the ball on us. We must all, and when I say lawyers, I'm talking of those involved in investigative, those involved in prosecuting, those involved in defending, and even those who are involved in rendering decisions, because they are also lawyers. They're trained as lawyers. And the unique thing about our conference is that we are all here together, and we're all listening to the same story, and we have all come to realize that the nation looks up to us and we have to do something.
When you say you will even be looking at judgments, are you saying that you will also be taking a look at what the judges do?
In law, the only way you can know what has happened in a case is to look at the judgment. How do you know that the lawyer has misconducted himself? How do you know that the lawyer has made himself a clog in the wheel of progress? How do you know that the lawyer has attempted to pervert the course of justice? So we have to look at the judgments. When I mean judgment, I'm talking about the entire record of proceedings. But first, we need to look at the judgment, and we take it from there. But if we don't do that and we keep hoping and waiting for reports, then we're not self-regulating. An association of professionals should be self-regulating. We should not wait for reports before we act. And that is the step that I have taken in my administration, that I will not just wait for reports. I will go out there and check and make sure that all members of the bar are keeping up the high ethical standards. That is the difference I'm talking about, and we're going to implement that. And anyone we find who has fallen short will receive a notification from the bar. It will now be the bar giving evidence or taking on matters against its own members. There will be no complainant. The bar will be the complainant. But whatever you do that impacts on the bar, impacts on us all. And we will stop waiting for petitions, because by the time you're waiting for petitions, damage may have been done to one person. We will no longer wait for that to happen. We'll take proactive action. And I believe that
Nigerians are a bit confused. Some Nigerians are confused concerning the comment from the president, who was the special guest there. He did say, tell us what you think about his comment on lawyers not protecting some of these corrupt officials. Some would say, or some have already argued, that it would amount to, well, pronouncing them guilty even before the courts. Doesn't that mean not having representation for these people that will be coming before the law?
The president was very clear, and the president, from all we have seen of him, is a Democrat. The president said, no matter the fees you are paid, do your cases applying the highest ethical standards. The president did not at any time say, don't take any cases. I've heard that being repeated over and over. Maybe that's what people expected him to say. But he didn't say that. He said, do your cases, but no matter how much you are being paid, do not pervert the course of justice just because of a fat pause. And we agree with him. You can do your case without perverting the course of justice, put in your best, and let the court determine where the culpability lies. It is when you now try to be too clever, try to become a club, try to pervert the course of justice, that then the issue of your ethics will come into play. The president said, no matter how fat the brief is, do not because of a pot of porridge sell your soul. You have a duty as a lawyer, well, firstly to the country, and before you have a duty to your client. He never said. It's still.
Well, I'm happy that you're trying to explain, especially more on that, because it's still very, very hazy for so many. It would seem as if the instrumentalities of law is what the lawyer would use to protect his client, in as much as it falls within jurisprudence, in as much as it falls within the legal profession. They believe that whatever tools you've taken or employed to protect your client is in order. But now you're telling us something quite different on ethics. Tell us more on that, so that people, the doubting Thomases out there, can better understand what the president meant by that.
Firstly, if you're briefed to do a case, for example, you should be ready to do your case, prepare properly, go to court in time, and ensure that you do not become a lawyer who's always asking for adjournments without reason. That's one of the ways that cases get delayed. So you've taken the brief, you've been paid your fees, but you're not going to start to delay the case by taking adjournments at every turn. So it's a simple thing. But if because you want to delay the trial, we'll find out every day when you get to court, you apply for adjournment. I have toothache. My father died yesterday. My mother is going to die tomorrow. As I was coming, I lost a tire on the road. We know all the stories. What we're saying is, do your case. Put in your best. That's what you owe your client. That's why you have been paid a fee. But do not pervert the course of justice.
Yeah, but
as long as you are doing your case correctly, and you take your ethics seriously, nobody is going to ask you to be disciplined, and nobody is going to accuse you of doing anything wrong. The problem comes when you abandon your duty as an officer of court, who is to pursue the ends of justice, and start to look for diversionary measures to aid your client to have evade justice.